What if that tiny dime in your pocket was worth over $300,000? Some rare 1966 Roosevelt Dimes have sold for up to $101,900, and you might have one without knowing it. Check your change, it could change your life. Subscribe, like the video, and comment if you've got one of these dimes. The 2004 Roosevelt Dime may seem like a perfectly ordinary coin, one that millions of Americans have handled without a second thought. Yet, beneath its modest silver shine lies one of the most intriguing modern era coins ever to emerge from the US Mint. It's small, it's light, and it's often ignored, but a rare few 2004 Roosevelt Dimes carry mistakes so remarkable that they've transformed this humble 10-cent piece into a collectible treasure worth a staggering $21,280 to $107,000, depending on the era type, condition, and rarity. For coin collectors, the story of this dime isn't just about metal, it's about discovery, history, and the thrill of finding something extraordinary where no one else is looking. The Roosevelt Dime has been an iconic piece of American currency since 1946, honoring the beloved President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who led the nation through some of its darkest years. Designed by John R. Sinek, the coin's obverse features Roosevelt's dignified profile along with the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the mint year, while the reverse showcases a torch flanked by olive and oak branches symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. For decades, it has served as a reminder of leadership and perseverance. Yet in 2004, one of the most unexpected chapters in the dime's long history was written, not by design, but by mistake. In 2004, the Philadelphia Mint struck millions of Roosevelt dimes bearing the P mint mark. But among them, a few slipped through production with remarkable minting errors that turned them into valuable rarities. These mistakes ranged from off-center strikes and missing layers to double strikes and misaligned dies. Some even exhibited a dramatic error where the outer copper-nickel-clad layer separated, exposing the pure copper core beneath. To most people, such a dime might look odd or damaged, but to a trained eye, it's an incredible find, a real treasure that tells a story of imperfection in precision. One of the most famous error types from this year involves the clad layer missing on one side of the coin. Normally, Roosevelt dimes are made of a copper core sandwiched between two layers of copper-nickel alloy. When one of those outer layers fails to bond properly during minting, it results in a striking color difference. The exposed copper core gives the coin a reddish tone on one side while the other remains silver. Collectors call this a missing clad layer error, and the contrast between the two surfaces makes it visually stunning and instantly recognizable. Such coins are extremely rare and have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. Another 2004 dime error that has captured attention is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet, the metal disc that becomes the coin, is not properly aligned with the dies during striking. The result is a coin with part of the design missing, often leaving blank areas around the edge and distorting Roosevelt's face or the torch on the reverse. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes. Slightly off-center strikes might fetch a few $100s, but extreme examples where a large portion of the design is missing can sell for thousands, especially in mint condition. Then there are the double die errors, where the design elements appear slightly duplicated or shadowed. These occur during the hubbing process when the die receives multiple impressions that are misaligned. On 2004 dimes with this error, you might notice doubling on the lettering, particularly around "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the date. While subtle, this kind of imperfection is highly sought after because it gives collectors tangible evidence of the minting process gone awry. One of the more visually striking varieties from the 2004 dimes is the broad strike error. This occurs when the retaining collar that holds the coin during striking fails to engage, allowing the metal to expand outward. The result is a dime that's slightly larger in diameter than normal, with stretched or flattened design details near the rim. It's a fascinating error because the coin retains most of its original image, but takes on a warped, almost melted appearance. Broad strikes are popular among collectors precisely because they look so unusual, while still showcasing clear minting details. Each of these error types contributes to the mystique and allure of the 2004 Roosevelt Dime, but what really makes them special is their scarcity. The Philadelphia Mint is known for producing coins with extreme precision, and errors that escape its rigorous quality control system are exceedingly rare. For one of these flawed dimes to make it into circulation, or even into a collector's hands, is an event that sparks excitement across the numismatic community. The first confirmed discoveries of major 2004 p-dime errors caused quite a stir among collectors. Photos and reports began appearing in coin forums and auction listings, and soon people across the country were checking their pocket change and bank rolls in hopes of finding one. The market value for these coins skyrocketed, with pristine examples fetching prices between $21,280 and $107,000 depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Even today, these coins remain some of the most sought-after modern dime errors in U.S. coinage history. Part of the reason these coins command such high prices lies in their rarity combined with their visual appeal. Error coins are like fingerprints. No two are exactly alike. A 2004 p-dime struck off-center by 40% will look completely different from one struck off-center by 70%. Each one is unique, and that individuality adds immense value in the collector market. When paired with the story of how it happened, each coin becomes a conversation piece, a miniature work of unintentional art. Collectors and numismatists love to trace how these mistakes occur. During production, each coin blank must be perfectly centered, the dies must align precisely, and the pressure applied must be exact. When any small part of that process goes wrong, whether it's a malfunctioning die, a misfed blank, or a failure in bonding layers, the result can be a spectacular mint error. And while the US Mint works hard to catch these before they leave the facility, a few always slip through. Those few are what make the hobby of coin collecting so endlessly fascinating. It's not just about the money, it's about the story. The 2004 Roosevelt Dime tells a story of how a machine's misstep and a human oversight turns something ordinary into something extraordinary. It's a coin that reminds us that perfection isn't always the most valuable thing. Sometimes, it's the flaws that make something truly special. Condition is crucial when determining the value of any error coin. Coins found in circulation might show scratches, wear, or discoloration, reducing their worth. However, uncirculated specimens, those preserved just as they left the mint, can sell for astounding prices. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC often assign high grades to well-preserved error coins, and those grades significantly increase their market appeal. The most pristine examples of 2004 Roosevelt Dimes with dramatic errors have appeared at major auctions, where collectors compete fiercely to own them. Their realized prices often surprise even seasoned experts. In one case, a perfectly struck example with a missing clad layer sold for over $90,000, while others with more complex errors have crossed the $100,000 mark. So, the next time you come across a dime from 2004, take a closer look. Turn it over, study both sides carefully, and pay attention to the details. Is the surface uneven? Is one side copper-colored? Is the image slightly off-center or doubled? You never know what you might be holding. That little coin could be worth thousands, maybe even $107,000, if it happens to be one of those rare 2004 Roosevelt Dime errors. It's proof that history and fortune can sometimes hide in the smallest, simplest things. A dime that was once meant to buy a piece of candy can now buy a car, a home, or change someone's life forever. All it takes is a sharp eye, a bit of luck, and a curiosity to look a little closer at the details most people overlook. Because in the world of coins, every error tells a story, and every story could be worth a fortune. The 1966 Roosevelt Dime is one of those rare coins that proves history and fortune can sometimes be hidden in plain sight. At first glance, it looks like any other dime, small, silver-toned, and ordinary. Yet among the millions produced that year, a few carry hidden errors that have transformed them into some of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. While most 1966 Roosevelt Dimes are worth just 10 cents, the rare error varieties have sold for astonishing amounts ranging from $66,000 to $283,000, depending on the type of error, its rarity, and the coin's condition. For collectors, the 1966 dime is a perfect blend of mystery, history, and luck, a coin that reminds us that even the smallest details can lead to monumental discoveries. The year 1966 was an important one for the United States Mint. It came right in the middle of a coinage transition that began in 1965, when silver was removed from dimes and quarters due to rising metal costs. Before that, Roosevelt dimes were struck in 90% silver. Starting in 1965, they switched to a clad composition made of a pure copper core layered with copper-nickel alloy on both sides. This change introduced new minting techniques and new machinery adjustments, which also meant a higher chance for minting errors. In the process of switching materials and increasing production, some coins were struck improperly, resulting in rare and valuable mistakes that collectors still hunt for today. During this period, the mint was also experimenting with eliminating mint marks entirely. Because of a nationwide coin shortage, the government wanted to discourage coin hoarding, and so in 1965, 1966, and 1967, no U.S. coins bore mint marks. This means all 1966 Roosevelt Dimes technically appear to be from Philadelphia, even though some were struck in Denver and San Francisco. The removal of mint marks makes identifying certain errors even more interesting since collectors can only determine origin through characteristics unique to each minting facility. Among the most sought-after 1966 dime errors are double die obverse and double die reverse varieties. These coins show visible doubling of letters or design elements, most often on the words "Liberty, in God we trust," or the date itself. The doubling occurs during die creation, when the hub impresses the coin design onto the die twice at slightly different angles. To the naked eye, this creates a faint shadow or ghost effect on the letters or numbers. In pristine condition, these double die 1966 dimes have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and in some cases, depending on strike quality and grade, prices have reached as high as $283,000. Another rare and exciting type of 1966 dime error involves off-center strikes. This occurs when the blank metal planchet isn't properly centered between the dies during striking, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing or shifted to one side. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value. A minor off-center error may only bring a few $100s, but one where Roosevelt's portrait is cut in half or where a significant portion of the design is missing can command prices over $100,000 in mint condition. Collectors prize these because they clearly display the moment something went wrong at the mint, turning a mistake into a masterpiece. Some 1966 dimes also feature missing clad layer errors, where one of the outer nickel layers fails to bond to the copper core. This results in a striking appearance. One side of the coin remains the usual silvery color, while the other exposes the reddish copper beneath. These coins stand out immediately when found and are extremely rare, especially for this transitional period. A missing clad layer 1966 dime with full details and sharp strike can easily reach tens of thousands at auction, depending on condition and visibility of the error. Then there are the broad strike and partial collar errors, which give the coin a slightly distorted or expanded shape. These occur when the retaining collar, the part that holds the coin in place during striking, fails to engage properly. The result is a coin that's wider and thinner than normal, often with blurred edges or rim lettering. While not as dramatic as double dies or off-center strikes, these errors are still incredibly collectible, especially from this specific year when minting technology was still being fine-tuned after the silver-to-clad transition. The 1966 Roosevelt Dime era coins hold special historical significance because of the timing. This was an era of major change in U.S. coinage, and the mint was under tremendous pressure to produce large quantities quickly to alleviate coin shortages. Quality control was stretched thin, and errors that would normally be caught sometimes escaped detection. For collectors today, those very oversights have turned into treasures. Each error tells a story, a frozen moment in history when human oversight and machine precision collided in unexpected ways. It's hard to believe that such a small coin, one most people never look twice at, could be worth more than a luxury car or even a house. But that's the magic of coin collecting. A single coin with a small imperfection, the tiniest deviation from the norm, can capture the imagination of experts and enthusiasts alike. The thrill of discovery drives collectors to inspect every dime they come across, hoping to find one of those elusive 1966 errors. And occasionally, someone does. Stories of individuals finding valuable error dimes in inherited coin jars or old bank rolls continue to circulate in numismatic circles, fueling dreams of hidden fortune. Condition plays a vital role in determining the value of any coin, and error coins are no exception. Coins that have never been in circulation, known as mint state examples, are especially desirable. Their surfaces retain their original luster and sharp details, untouched by wear. Such coins are graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, and high-grade 1966 dime errors can reach extraordinary prices. A double die or off-center 1966 dime in perfect mint state has been known to exceed $200,000 at auction, while others in slightly lower grades still fetch impressive sums. Collectors often say that what makes the 1966 dime so intriguing is that it doesn't immediately reveal its secrets. Unlike more obvious errors, such as dramatic misstrikes, the doubling or missing clad layers on these coins can be subtle. It takes a keen eye and patience to spot them. That's part of the excitement, the idea that something incredible might be hiding in plain sight, overlooked by countless hands before landing in yours. The Roosevelt dime itself is deeply tied to American resilience and compassion. Franklin D. Roosevelt's image was chosen for the coin because of his leadership and his association with the March of Dimes campaign, which helped combat polio. Every dime ever struck carries that legacy of hope and unity. When one of those coins turns out to be a rare mint error worth $66,000 to $283,000, it feels like history rewarding those who pay attention to the smallest details. The market for 1966 dime errors remains strong even decades later. Collectors continue to seek out verified examples, and auction prices consistently reflect growing demand. Each sale adds to the coin's legend and reinforces its place among the most desirable modern U.S. errors. These coins bridge the gap between art, technology, and chance, products of both human ingenuity and imperfection. The story of the 1966 Roosevelt dime error is one of transformation. It shows how something designed for everyday use can, by accident, become something truly priceless. It's a celebration of imperfection, a symbol of how value can emerge from the unexpected, and a testament to the endless curiosity of those who look beyond the surface. Somewhere out there, hidden in a collection or perhaps still in circulation, more of these rare dimes are waiting to be found. And one of them could be worth as much as $283,000, a reminder that sometimes the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprise. The 2012 Roosevelt dime may look like any ordinary 10-cent piece, but for coin collectors and treasure hunters, it has become a symbol of how something small and overlooked can hold unimaginable value. Most people pass by a dime without giving it a second thought, yet hidden among the billions of coins produced in 2012 are a few rare and extraordinary era dimes that have stunned experts and investors alike. These coins, because of their remarkable minting mistakes, have been valued anywhere from $19,462 to $101,900, turning what should have been pocket change into a small fortune. It's a story that reminds us that even the most ordinary objects can hide extraordinary secrets if you look closely enough. The Denver Mint, responsible for the 2012 Roosevelt Dimes, is known for its efficiency and precision. That year alone, it struck hundreds of millions of coins destined for circulation across the United States. Yet even with modern technology and tight quality control, human oversight and machine imperfections still found their way into the process. Somewhere along the production line, tiny misalignments, metal flaws, or striking inconsistencies gave birth to a few error coins that would later become numismatic legends. These mistakes are not flaws to collectors. They are marvels of chance, frozen moments where technology and error collided in fascinating ways. To understand why the 2012 Roosevelt dime stands out, it's important to know the design behind it. Since 1946, the dime has featured the profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, chosen to honor his leadership and his role in founding the March of Dimes to combat polio. The reverse shows a torch, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. It's a simple design that has remained largely unchanged for decades, but what makes the 2012 dime so compelling is how subtle imperfections within that familiar image can create coins worth thousands of dollars. Among the most valuable errors for the 2012 Roosevelt dime are the double die obverse and double die reverse varieties. These occur when the coin die receives two impressions of the design at slightly different angles, leading to visible doubling of letters, numbers, or other details. On some 2012 dimes, careful collectors have spotted doubling on the word Liberty, the motto, In God We Trust, or the date, 2012, itself. The effect can be faint or dramatic depending on how far apart the impressions were. A clear, bold doubling can elevate a dime's value exponentially, especially in pristine, mint-state condition, where examples have reached prices over $80,000 at major auctions. Another striking variety involves off-center strikes, where the blank planchet isn't properly seated during striking, causing part of the design to appear shifted or even missing entirely. These coins instantly catch the eye because Roosevelt's portrait may appear pushed to one side, leaving a blank crescent of smooth metal on the other. The more dramatic the misalignment, the rarer and more desirable the coin becomes. A 2012D dime with a significant off-center strike and strong detail can easily fetch $19,462 to $101,900, depending on how far off-center the design appears and how well the coin has been preserved. Collectors also prize broad strike errors on 2012D dimes. These happen when the collar that normally holds the coin's shape during striking fails, allowing the metal to expand outward. The result is a dime that appears wider and thinner than normal, with its reeded edge missing or faint. These coins look slightly distorted, almost as if they melted outward, yet they remain fully detailed in the center. Because broad strikes are less common on modern dimes due to improved machinery, those from 2012 are especially interesting to collectors and can sell for thousands of dollars when graded by reputable services. Another remarkable error found in some 2012D Roosevelt dimes is the missing clad layer variety. Modern dimes are made from a copper core sandwiched between two layers of copper-nickel alloy, giving them their silvery appearance. Sometimes, one of those outer layers doesn't properly bond during minting, leaving one side of the coin bright silver and the other showing the raw reddish copper beneath. The contrast is striking, and these coins stand out immediately. Because of their rarity and visual appeal, missing clad layer 2012D dimes have sold for tens of thousands, especially when authenticated and encapsulated by grading services like NGC or PCGS. Another fascinating type of mint mistake that adds immense value to a 2012D Roosevelt dime is a double-struck error, where the coin is struck more than once. In some cases, the second strike occurs slightly off-center, causing a shadowed or overlapping image of Roosevelt's profile or the reverse design. These pieces are visually dramatic, almost as if two coins merged into one. Collectors love these because they offer a perfect glimpse into how the minting process works, and how it sometimes fails. A well-defined double strike from 2012 with both images clear and strong can reach valuations well above $90,000, especially in gem condition. While each of these errors is fascinating on its own, what truly makes the 2012D dime stand out is how recent it is. Many people assume that valuable coin errors only come from older, silver-era coins, but the 2012D proves that even modern change can hide treasure. Because the coin is relatively new, many error examples are still in private hands or circulating unknowingly in rolls and change jars. The possibility that a dime worth over $100,000 could be sitting unnoticed in someone's kitchen drawer keeps collectors searching and hoping. The Denver Mint's history also adds to the intrigue. Known for producing coins with sharp strikes and minimal defects, Denver is less often associated with major minting mistakes compared to older facilities. That makes any verified 2012D Roosevelt dime error even more special, because it defies expectations of modern minting perfection. Every coin that escapes the mint with a visible flaw becomes a small miracle of survival, enduring inspections and sorting processes that should have caught it. When such a coin surfaces in the collector's market, it immediately attracts national attention. Condition, as always, plays a critical role in determining value. Coins that have never circulated, those still in mint state or proof-like condition, carry enormous premiums. Even minor wear or scratches can dramatically lower a coin's grade and therefore its price. That's why collectors often send promising coins for professional grading. A certified mint state 2012D error dime with strong details, brilliant luster, and clear doubling or misstrike commands incredible prices and can change hands for amounts most people wouldn't believe possible for a 10-cent coin. But beyond the money, there's a deeper fascination. The 2012D Roosevelt dime error represents the unpredictability of creation, how precision can meet imperfection to produce something rare and beautiful. It's about the human connection to craftsmanship, the machines that strike billions of coins with identical precision, and the rare few that emerge different, destined to be cherished. Every scratch, every off-center strike, every missing layer tells a story of that coin's journey through the minting process. For collectors and dreamers alike, the hunt for the 2012D Roosevelt dime error is a reminder that value can appear where you least expect it. It's a small coin, easy to overlook, but its legacy grows every time one of these rare errors appears in the market. The next time you hold a dime and see the tiny D beneath the date, take a closer look. Study the letters, the edges, the shine. That seemingly ordinary piece of metal might carry the signs of a rare minting anomaly. And if it does, it could be worth anywhere from $19,462 to $101,900. Proof that sometimes, the smallest discoveries hold the biggest surprises. The 1981 Roosevelt Dime might seem like just another small coin lost in the shuffle of spare change, but for collectors who pay attention to detail, it represents one of the most fascinating and valuable modern U.S. coin errors ever discovered. Most people glance at a dime, see Franklin D. Roosevelt's face, and think nothing of it. But hidden among the millions of 1981 dimes struck that year are a few that contain minting mistakes so rare and so remarkable that they have become treasures in the world of numismatics. Some of these coins have been sold for jaw-dropping prices ranging from $51,500 to $132,900, depending on their condition, rarity, and the nature of the error. What was meant to be worth just 10 cents has become a collector's dream, a symbol of how even the smallest details can change everything. The Roosevelt Dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt shortly after his passing. Designed by John R. Sinek, the coin features the president's portrait on the obverse side with the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date. The reverse showcases a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Over the decades, the design has barely changed, but mistakes in minting have made certain years, like 1981, stand out. By 1981, the U.S. Mint had mastered the process of mass-producing coins with modern technology, yet even precision machines aren't immune to human oversight. The San Francisco Mint, which struck proof coins intended for collectors, became the site of one of the most intriguing minting blunders in modern coinage history. Some of the 1981 proof Roosevelt dimes were released without the identifying S mint mark. This mark, which appears just above the date, indicates that the coin was made at the San Francisco Mint. The absence of that letter instantly transformed an otherwise ordinary proof coin into a numismatic rarity. The 1981 No S proof Roosevelt dime is one of the most famous and valuable mint errors in U.S. history. Proof coins are supposed to be flawless examples of craftsmanship, created with polished dies and planchets to achieve perfect strikes and mirror-like surfaces. They are handled with extreme care, inspected multiple times, and packaged in sets specifically for collectors. So, for a coin missing its mint mark to make it into circulation, or even into collector sets, is a stunning mistake. The fact that it happened in 1981, following a similar No S error in 1980, only added to the intrigue and made these coins even more desirable. Experts believe that during production, a die intended for proof coinage was accidentally put into use before it received the S mint mark punch. Because proof dies are normally destroyed after each production run, the number of coins struck with this error was extremely small. When collectors began to notice proof dimes from 1981 missing their S mint mark, the discovery sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Suddenly, everyone was searching their proof sets, hoping to find one of these rare treasures hiding among the ordinary coins. The story of the 1981 No S proof dime is about more than just a minting error, it's about the thrill of discovery. Collectors who found one knew they were holding something truly special. A small difference, just a missing letter, separated their dime from the millions of others. And that tiny difference was enough to make it worth tens of thousands of dollars. Depending on its condition, an example of the 1981 No S proof dime can sell anywhere between $51,500 and $132,900. The best preserved examples, graded PR70 by professional services like PCGS or NGC, often reach the upper end of that range, with collectors competing fiercely for ownership. The 1981 No S dime is also important because it represents the end of an era. It was the last year of this type of proof mint mark error, as the U.S. Mint later implemented stricter quality control procedures to prevent such mistakes from happening again. In other words, it's not just a rare coin, it's a piece of history marking the transition from an era of human craftsmanship and occasional imperfection to one of technological precision. Beyond the famous No S error, some 1981 Roosevelt dimes also show double die errors, where the image or lettering on the coin appears slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. On these coins, careful observers can notice doubling in areas such as the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," or even on Roosevelt's facial features. These subtle imperfections might seem minor to the casual observer, but for numismatists, they're fascinating glimpses into how a small deviation in the minting process can result in a completely unique coin. The beauty of these rare 1981 dimes lies in their simplicity. Nothing flashy or obvious announces their rarity, you have to look closely. Proof coins are known for their deep, mirror-like fields and frosted designs, and the missing mint mark doesn't jump out immediately. But once you spot it, there's no mistaking what you've found. The thrill of realizing that a coin you've had for years might be worth over $100,000 is something every collector dreams about. Condition plays an enormous role in determining the final value of these coins. Proof coins are graded based on their strike quality, mirror finish, and lack of imperfections. A single hairline scratch or smudge can reduce a coin's grade and value significantly. The best examples, those preserved in pristine condition since they left the mint, are the ones that command the highest prices. Collectors and dealers around the world keep a keen eye on major auctions for these coins, knowing that they don't come up for sale often. When a 1981 NOS proof dime does appear at auction, it becomes the star of the show. Collectors and investors alike compete for it, recognizing it as one of the most iconic modern errors in US coinage. Some have sold for the price of a new car, others for more than a year's salary. The combination of rarity, historical significance, and visual perfection makes these dimes unforgettable. Part of the enduring appeal of coins like this is the human story behind them. Every minting error reminds us that even in highly controlled environments, mistakes can happen. But instead of being discarded, these mistakes become celebrated. They remind us that perfection isn't always what makes something valuable. It's the uniqueness, the story, the moment frozen in metal that gives a coin its soul. The Roosevelt dime itself carries deep meaning in American history. Franklin D. Roosevelt led the nation through some of its darkest times, including the Great Depression and World War II. He was also instrumental in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign that helped fund research to fight polio. To have his likeness on a coin that later became a symbol of rare imperfection feels fitting, a small tribute to a leader who understood both human resilience and human error. Even today, collectors continue to search for these coins with passion and patience. Online forums, social media groups, and coin shows are filled with discussions about sightings, values, and authentication tips. The community thrives on the excitement of discovery, and every news story of someone finding a rare 1981 dime renews that collective enthusiasm. So, the next time you come across a dime, especially a proof coin from 1981, take a moment to look closely. Check for that little S above the date. If it's missing, you might be holding one of the rarest and most valuable modern coins ever made. Something that most people would never notice could, in fact, be a hidden fortune sitting right in your hands. Coins like the 1981 Roosevelt dime prove that value is often hidden in plain sight. They show that even something as small and seemingly insignificant as a missing letter can turn an ordinary object into a remarkable treasure. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting out, this coin is a powerful reminder that great discoveries often begin with curiosity and a careful eye. In the world of coin collecting, anything is possible, and sometimes, a simple dime can be worth between $51,500 and $132,900, a testament to the beauty of imperfection and the endless surprises history can still hold in the palm of your hand. The 1990p Roosevelt dime might seem like one of the countless small silver-colored coins that pass through people's hands every day, but hidden within its ordinary appearance lies a mystery that continues to fascinate coin collectors and historians alike. It is one of those rare minting anomalies that turned a simple 10-cent coin into a breathtaking treasure worth thousands. While most 1990p dimes are worth exactly what they say, 10 cents, a few carry a unique error that has made them worth between $39,000 and $183,000, depending on the condition, the sharpness of the strike, and the rarity of the mistake. For coin enthusiasts, the story of the 1990p Roosevelt dime error is a reminder that even in modern minting, perfection is never absolute. The Roosevelt dime has been an enduring symbol of American history since it was first introduced in 1946. Designed by John R. Sinek, it honors President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership helped guide the United States through the Great Depression and World War II. The coin's reverse features a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. For decades, it has been one of the most common coins in circulation. Yet, it's often within such everyday items that the greatest surprises are found. The Philadelphia Mint, responsible for producing billions of coins annually, struck millions of Roosevelt dimes in 1990 bearing the P mint mark. But a small number of those coins contain striking errors that set them apart. Among these are off-center strikes, missing mint marks, and double die errors. The 1990p Roosevelt Dime error that captured the most attention, however, is the one where the mint mark itself was either missing entirely or misplaced due to a die problem. To the naked eye, the coin might appear normal at first, but under close inspection, one notices the absence of that tiny P that should sit just above the date. That simple missing detail has made these coins legendary among collectors. Unlike proof coins, which are carefully struck and handled, business strike dimes like those from 1990 were produced in vast quantities for circulation. That makes the appearance of an error even more astonishing, because it means that some of these rare coins likely entered everyday use. Imagine finding one in your change after buying a cup of coffee or slipping one into a coin jar without realizing its true worth. That's part of what gives this error coin such mystique, its potential to appear where least expected. Experts suggest that the missing mintmark error on the 1990p Roosevelt dime occurred due to a mechanical oversight during the die preparation process. Before 1990, mintmarks were hand-punched onto dies, but during that year, the mint was transitioning toward machine-punched marks. This change in process created opportunities for inconsistencies, with some dies missing mintmarks entirely or having them misaligned. Because mintmark punches were applied to dies before hardening, an omitted or faintly impressed mark could easily go unnoticed until coins were already in production. When collectors discovered the 1990p era dimes, word spread quickly across the numismatic community. The excitement was immediate and intense. People began scouring their change, searching through rolls of dimes from banks, hoping to find one of the elusive error coins. Within months, reports of the missing mintmark dimes started surfacing from various parts of the country, fueling a frenzy similar to that caused by the famous 1982 and 1983 Roosevelt dime errors. What makes the 1990p dime so valuable is not just the rarity of the mistake, but also its place in minting history. It represents the tail end of an era where human oversight could still produce anomalies even with advanced technology. Every error tells a story of imperfection in a system designed for precision. And in numismatics, those imperfections become stories worth preserving and investing in. Condition plays a vital role in determining the coin's final value. Uncirculated examples, especially those graded by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, command the highest prices. The surfaces of these coins are often free from scratches and wear, their luster still intact as if they had just left the mint. Coins showing slight wear are still valuable, but pristine specimens are the true crown jewels for serious collectors. It's not uncommon for one in top condition to fetch between $39,000 and $183,000, especially when authenticated and certified by experts. Beyond missing mintmarks, some 1990p dimes exhibit fascinating die errors such as doubling on the lettering or Roosevelt's features. These doubled die coins occur when the die used to strike the coin was imprinted twice at slightly different angles, resulting in a ghost-like shadow on the details. Such errors are highly prized because they are visible to the naked eye and demonstrate a tangible quirk in the minting process. When combined with the missing mintmark, these factors multiply the value and desirability exponentially. Collectors are drawn to these coins not only for their rarity but also for what they represent. They're physical proof that even in an age of machines and quality control, the human element still finds a way to leave its mark, or in this case, to miss one. The absence of the mintmark on the 1990p dime became symbolic of a moment in minting history when automation met imperfection. Each of these coins is like a small time capsule, preserving that exact instant when the machine faltered, and history was quietly made. Finding one today is a challenge, but not impossible. Coin roll hunters often search through thousands of dimes hoping to spot one of these elusive treasures. Sometimes, they appear in old collections, inherited coin jars, or even in circulation where someone unknowingly spent one. The odds are slim, but that's exactly what makes it exciting. Every coin you check could be the one that changes everything. The Roosevelt dime itself carries a deep sense of American resilience. Named after a president who led the nation through hardship and inspired programs that changed millions of lives, it serves as a fitting reminder that small things can have big significance. When that same coin becomes a rare collectible worth tens of thousands of dollars, it feels almost poetic, a tribute to how value can emerge from the unexpected. Numismatic experts often point out that the true allure of coins like the 1990p Roosevelt dime lies not just in the dollar value but in the mystery they carry. No one knows exactly how many of these error coins exist. Estimates suggest only a few hundred may have been struck, and even fewer survive in pristine condition. Their scarcity ensures they will continue to grow in value over time, especially as collectors compete to complete their RareCoin sets. When these coins appear at auction, the bidding wars are intense. Collectors who've spent years searching for the perfect example are willing to go to great lengths to secure one. The rarity, historical context, and the visual intrigue of the missing mintmark all combine to create a perfect storm of desirability. Stories circulate about dimes selling for as much as $183,000, astonishing figures that spark renewed interest from newcomers and veteran collectors alike. But perhaps what's most captivating about coins like this is their ability to turn ordinary moments into extraordinary discoveries. Something as small as a dime, overlooked by most, can hold a secret fortune. It's a reminder that sometimes life's most valuable treasures aren't the ones we plan to find, they're the ones we stumble upon by accident. So the next time you come across a dime dated 1990, take a closer look at it. Hold it under the light, check the mintmark carefully, and imagine the hands that made it and the chance that allowed it to reach you. Because one small oversight in the mint's process might mean you're holding a coin not worth 10 cents, but up to $183,000. That's the wonder of numismatics, where ordinary change can become extraordinary fortune, and history hides in the palm of your hand.